So the other day, when we had a bunch of puddles outside of Twinfield, some people and I decided we would try to recreate this photograph by Jordi Koalitic. You can follow him on Instagram. His pictures are amazing, and he always shows you how he does it. But this, I'm not sure how he edited it, so I tried several different ways, and the way I'm going to show you, I think, was the best way. So let me get rid of that. Okay, so in Photoshop here, I have I have two pictures. I have me outside my boots and I have me inside my boots making a reflection. So what I want to do is I want to combine parts of this photograph to cover up the part of the photograph here that has me in it. So I'm going to go to guided, and then probably it'll be on basics, but then you just come over here to Photomerge, click Photomerge Compose, and it's nice. It tells you everything to do. So I want to get part of the image out of the picture where I am not. So I'm going to put it right in there. I'm going to make it a little bigger so I can see it better. And then I'm going to get my quick selection tool, and I'm just going to select everything that would be sort of where I'm standing. And I have to see this even bigger again. Just make sure I get the shoes right, that's all. Yeah, okay, that looks good. So now what I'm going to say is next. And it combines the two photos just like that. And it automatically goes here to this move tool. So I can move it right now, but it's just, I can't really see it well enough. So I need to make it bigger. And I'll get my move tool again. And I think that's pretty good. So now I'm going to say next. Okay, so it gives me this chance now to auto match the color tone. So let me make it a little smaller so you can see it all. Okay, so I'm going to just check auto match color tone. And it takes a little while to cogitate about that. But you can see it didn't really do a very good job. So you can still use these sliders to make it better. So let me just try that. Yeah, so that's a lot better, but not quite enough. So let me turn it down a little more, the luminousness, which I don't know why they don't just say, you know, exposure. That would sort of help me to see exposure there. So I don't really think I can see that. So I'm going to say that's good. And now I'm just going to say next. So now it asks me what I want to do. Do I want to save it? Do I want to continue editing? And so yes, I do want to continue editing because at the very least I want to crop it some more because I want it to be closer up. So I'm going to just get my crop tool. And you know, if you were to have an assignment or you were doing something for someone, you could choose any of these different options of what size to make. 8 by 10 is a pretty standard size. It's the size frames come in. So if you want to make something that's easy for someone to frame, then 8 by 10 is a good size. And you have your little guidelines there, so you can maybe make some decisions about like not putting the figure right dead in the middle, or maybe, oops, okay, just a second. Let me just do it again. So yeah, so you can move it around, and remember, every photograph you take, you're thinking about these different things. Like there's no reason, you've learned some things about stuff, so you want to think about them in your photographs, like the rule of thirds, you know, how to make an interesting picture with the diagonal lines. All these different things are sort of important to think about. Now I think I need more top because I want to be sure that it's obvious that there's no person there. But I don't really want the cars, and I don't really want the grass. And I'm not really actually sure I want that puddle, so I may want to come over more this way. So I guess my biggest recommendation for you was be to please think about what you're doing and actually make a decision and not just say that the first thing you do is like, oh yeah, that's fine, it's good enough, whatever. So now I'm going to say I accept that. Okay, so now it's much easier if you combine these layers, but before I do that, I'm going to just copy them each one, because that way if I do something I really don't like, I can fix it later. And I'm going to put these two together, I'm going to turn those two off, and now what I'm going to do is push my shift key and select that other layer, and now I'm going to combine these into one layer using under layers, merge layers. And now whatever I do to this one will happen to the whole thing. I don't have to keep track of where I'm working. So I need to make it bigger. So like right here, maybe I don't want those shadows in there. So I can get my, my clone stamp. Let's make it bigger. And so what I do here is I push down Option, and then I start, and I don't know, you can't really see my little, Option, get the little bullseye. And there, can you see? No, I cannot see it. Anyway, the clones, oh, there it was. Okay, so if I click here and then I start dragging, can you see that little plus sign? So that's what's kind of confusing, is you have to keep track of where your plus sign is, and you have to keep track of where your circle is, because the plus sign is where it's changing what you're doing, and I mean, it's where you're getting the information from, and the circle is where you're actually changing it. So it's, I find it a really complex tool to use, but it's also very helpful. This little thingy, I kind of hated that little thingy in there, a rock or whatever. I just felt like it didn't serve a purpose. So I'm going to get rid of it too. Just make my clone stamp a little smaller. And you just want to keep grabbing, like, see, I can still see it there. So I want to keep grabbing things from different places to make it not be just a little circle there. Okay, so that's not too bad. Let me just look at my shoes a little more. Yeah, you know, I could do stuff, but they're not too bad. I just didn't even notice ever that my shoes had that on there. Okay, so let me just make it smaller again. You know, you can just keep copying your layers, and that way, if you get confused, or that way you're doing stuff on different layers, so that so I could just say this is my clone layer, oops, clone layer, and this is going to be my effects layer. Okay, so what I could do here is I wish that this stood out more, the little figures stood out more from the water. So I'm going to get my selection tool. Oops, that is not what I wanted to have happen. So just a minute, sorry, I was on the wrong tool. Okay, so I'm going to get my selection tool, and I'm going to select the figure, and I'm not going to mess around with it very much because it all takes so much time. Just going to say good enough. So what I was thinking I would do is sharpen it. The thing is, here in Photoshop, you can sharpen things a whole lot compared to what we did in Snapseed, but I don't want to go that crazy. I just want it to have more detail than the stuff that's around it. I'm just going to say okay to that. And the other thing I thought I might do was work on the color a little bit. So I'm going to adjust the hue and saturation. I'm going to saturate it quite a bit more, and then I'm going to turn it down a little bit. So I'm going to say I love that, and I'm going to deselect. And then I thought what I might do is get my selection tool again and just select the water right around here. And then if you get somewhere you don't want in your selection, you just push down Option, and that will give you a little minus sign and get rid of stuff you didn't mean to have. Okay, so here I was thinking I'd make this lighter. So enhance, adjust lighting, brightness and contrast. Whoa, too much. So it might be okay, but I have to deselect it to look at it, see. Yeah, so that's kind of too standoutish, but you know what? I'm just going to leave it like it is for the moment because I wanted to show you this other kind of amazing brush. This is the Smart Brush, and I'm going to get the big one. And then there are a whole lot of different things you can do here. Like you can use the nature one. So this is cloudy skies, so I'll just try that. And I'm just going to drag this right over it. And so it does something like that to it. And then I can also, it creates a layer mask basically. So I can get my brush, be sure it's on black, turn down the opacity. And I can, make that filter not as strong if I don't want it quite so strong. I can do that to it. And you saw it made the layer mask a little different. So the thing about these is they'll just keep adding up. So if you want to try different things, you need to undo in between. And actually, I just don't think I can stand that. Let me just see if I can fix this because I don't like it. So that is just barely more. So let's just see if I can stand that better. Okay, deselect. Got my wrong brush. Need my smart brush. One thing I thought looked kind of cool was to change it to sort of a sunset option. But then if that's too much, so see I have my layer mask, I'll get my brush, I have black. I kind of like to use a really big brush because I don't want to have to go over it and over it and over it. So I can take it down some. If I think I went too far, I can get the white and I can bring it back up. Anyway, so I can do anything I want, but so say now I want to see a different thing. I'm just going to get rid of all that and go back and get my smart brush. So one thing I really liked in here under artistic was I think this is, watercolor painting. So because I liked it actually because it took out some of the texture. So let me just turn it off right here so you can see how it looked before. So it's funny, I put in that sharpening, but this takes it right out. So I did kind of like that. Okay, so yeah, so it's another case of try to have fun. Try not to, just accept the first thing that goes on. Yeah, oh yeah, I even like this one better, this soft something flat color. Oh, I missed a piece. Yep, okay, so that's what you're gonna do if you want. You can do this any way you want. You could use it for all kinds of different things, but as always, my advice to you is have a really good time. And this is a lot better, in my opinion, than just checking out your Instagram or TikTok feed. You're actually doing something, which is kind of cool. All right, thank you.